Erika, and I am originally from Malaysia, but I'm currently living in Basel, Switzerland. And I am a voiceover actress, TV screen actress, and also occasionally model. And I am multilingual. I speak English, Mandarin, and Malay, and I'm currently learning French and German. And most of my full time is voice acting, but in the past I do more acting. And then after I moved to Switzerland, I started voice acting even more rigorously. And yeah, other than that, I also do a little bit of modeling here and there. And aside from that, I am also an autoimmune patient. I have lupus, and I've had that for about 20 years now. And yeah, that's a little bit about me and my background. So yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us here today and sharing a little bit about yourself and your background. So to start, how did you find the career of voice acting?
So I started voice acting. Actually, I was doing a lot of acting before when I was in Asia. And then my agency started sending me to jobs like hosting or, they call it the voice of God behind events. Like, let's say there's a runway show and then I'm just announcing things backstage, like people don't see me. Or there is also like road shows for cars and everything. And I'm the host and the MC. And that's where I started with voice things. And obviously acting involved voice as well, like voice training and stuff. And then after that, COVID hits and I was stuck at home, and I thought, why not try voice acting, because I can do it from home. And I already have some equipments at the time, like really basic ones. So I started from there, and I started doing fun projects, just building my own portfolio, doing free stuff for people. And that's where I started. And yeah, and then until it grows bigger and bigger. And now I'm doing it. I can say that's my, not full time, but sometimes it gets full time. Sometimes, there are seasons up and downs for freelancers. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Thank you so much for sharing insight on that. So we'd love to hear more about your career as a voice artist specifically, but before that, I know you mentioned that you got into voice acting through acting and other voice gigs here and there. So how did you get into acting as a whole, which would eventually lead you into voice acting?
I started, actually, my first job is modeling. Like, obviously, before that, I was a university student. I was studying in Australia. And then I dabbled in all kinds of job, like waitressing, selling, like retail and stuff. And then when I was a student, I was already doing modeling on the side for other students who were in the art department. I studied psychology, by the way. So right now I'm doing something that's completely different from what I studied, but I was asked to do modeling a lot. So I started from there, from my university time. It was a bit late because usually people will start modeling when they're like teenage. For me, it's a bit late. I started with helping people doing shoots, and after graduating, I went back to my home country, and I traveled between Singapore and Malaysia because my mom is Singaporean and I live very close, and there's more fashion opportunities in Singapore. And before, I thought I was going to get like a, corporate job and something like this in psychology. And there's like a gap when I was searching for jobs. And then I was like, why not do modeling to earn some money while I was searching for a proper job? And so I found myself an agency in Singapore. And also at the time, both my brothers, I have an elder and a younger brother, they were both also in the fashion industry and the film industry. Like, one of them is a cinematographer and my elder brother is a photographer, which makes things much easier for me. And I got my portfolio, they do it for me. And I found an agency, and then that's where it all started. And I started becoming really, really busy with modeling, and without knowing, like, years gone by, I'm just doing this a lot. And then one day my agency was like, why don't you try acting? Because I did a lot of commercial modeling before, and he was like, why don't you try drama acting, like TV series and stuff, like in Asia. So I was like, okay, why not? And just dabbled in there. I hated it at first because I know nothing about acting. I got scolded on set a lot, and it was completely different from modeling. But yeah, I hated it in the beginning, but after a few tries, I started loving it, and I started to make a lot of new friends and becoming family on set and all that, and it was really fun. And then I went on to acting slash modeling, continued for a few years down until COVID. So yeah, those are my acting experiences.
So because you transferred over, like your what you studied and like what you did for a while was completely different. And you said it was difficult to like move into acting when you didn't know anything. Did anything you did help you adjust to that career more? Like did you take any classes, meet any people who could help you?
Like I didn't take any classes for any of my career choice at the moment, except for studying psychology. But I guess in general, psychology is sort of like, it sort of helped me to, with people, like navigating and understanding people and human psychology, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, in general, I did not take any classes at all, and I felt like a lot of jobs and career, in my opinion, except for like those that needs professional like knowledge, like doctors and stuff. A lot of the job you really have to start from zero, even after university. Like you sort of need to get the real world experience. So I think that's the best kind of thing for a career. For modeling and acting, I would say yes, you kind of need talent, but talent is not everything. Like you also need to do a lot of hard work. So no, I did not take classes, but I did went for like 1 or 2 trainings maybe that my agency sent me to, or I wouldn't have the motivation myself. But yeah, those were useful. And of course, like this day and age, we have like YouTube and those kind of thing where you can self-learn a lot of things and you go along the way. But I think the most important thing is the interest, like the passion. If you're passionate about something, you never get bored of doing or learning it on the side. And I think of course, I did meet a lot of very nice people that helped me along the way, like mentors or people who have been doing this for many, many years. And yeah, sort of like I learn everything on the spot or on set. And of course, you learn from mistakes, experiences, and you learn from being scolded a lot sometimes. And also, yeah, and never be afraid to ask for help, which was my big mistake. I'm always very scared to ask for help or scared to say no and stuff like this. But yeah, as you work throughout the years, you sort of grew and you sort of understand the industry more, and then you self-taught a lot of things. And yeah, that's where it goes. There's a lot of hustling in the beginning. Like, let's say voice acting, I do not have an agent even until now, but in the beginning I have to learn everything myself, the technical side, like the equipment, the editing, the softwares. And I have to, like, watch a lot of tutorial videos, like trial and errors, and asking a lot of mentors and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, if you ask, actually, there are a lot of nice people out there who are willing to share their knowledge and help you. So yeah, that's how I got into it. And
So looking back on your voice artist or focusing on your voice artist career, is there any specific role models or mentors that helped you kind of adjust to voice acting?
I would say no specific one, because it's just really random. Like I just ask people that I know. Like I just also I joined a voice guild in my home country, and there are like a whole lot of voice actors in there, and they're all super nice. I can just message them privately and ask for like in the beginning I do not know how to quote my voice, and I do not know the rules and regulations and the contracts for clients to sign and everything, and they provide all these So I'm actually really grateful to this voice guild. It's called Voice Guild Malaysia. And even until today, like I still have questions for them, and they're still very helpful. And also there are a lot of, let's say, a lot of veteran voice actors, let's say in the States or in the UK, that I watch a lot of their YouTube videos. It's really a lot of them that I follow, and I don't have a specific favorite one because they all have their own specialty, I guess. And yeah, for acting wise, of course, in the beginning, I was acting a lot in Singapore, and I would, of course, ask for advice from all the veteran actors that I work with. And they're all very nice and very helpful. And I think that the main point is just really do not be afraid to ask, because that was really my biggest problem when I first started out. I thought that I'm a nobody, I cannot talk to anyone, you know. But actually, people are very kind and generous to share what they know. And even now, I have quite several people who wants to start doing voiceover or acting. They would message me and like, oh, can you help me with like, let's say, equipment, or how do I start? And I would be very glad to share it. And because I've been through that road as well. So yeah, I guess that's it. And yeah, just basically don't be afraid to ask.
What does your day-to-day life look like as a voice actor?
That depends, because during peak season, I would be obviously working a lot and recording, but day to day, it's like I will start by checking my email, of course. And then I would, if there is no recording scheduled like today, then I would look for all the open castings that I can do. And then I would record everything and send all my auditions in, as many as I can, or with those that I'm really interested in. But if there are scheduled recording sessions, sometimes it's live, sometimes it's like client will be like, oh, you record on yourself, and then you just deliver by this date. And then I would get all those done, obviously, first. And yeah, let's say if there's a live session, then I would, before that, maybe if I get the script early, I would study it a day or two before, like note down any important stuff and any questions I need to ask the client beforehand. And also liaise with the studio on the setups and everything, and how long the session will go, discuss the quotation, the pricing, settle on everything. And then when the live session starts, then usually there's a studio and a director, and then the client. Sometimes the client is not present, but they will send like a representative. And then the session starts, and sometimes I record on my site as well for safety, but usually there's like this software where they can record my voice directly from my mic and everything. So it was pretty cool. And those are live sessions. If not, if I record on my own, then I will, of course, also study the script and then set up my own recording thing and doing it according to my own time. And then, yeah, and check everything and submit. And yeah, that's basically a day to day. And it can be quite full in a day, but sometimes it can be quite empty. Then I will try my best to do as many auditions as possible. Yeah. And or else there are days, because I still have an acting agent in the UK, and if they send me self-tapes, and I will do it. And one self-tape usually takes me hours already, like half day will be gone. And yeah, those things are how I keep myself busy.
What's your favorite voice acting job that you've done so far?
I have so many, actually. Okay, recently I've done an audio drama, like a fantasy audio drama, where I was a detective. I really enjoyed that because it's like full on acting for the entire book. And there's also things like you wouldn't be able to say in real life, like a detective kind of lines. And the others are really cute commercials. Like you have to really be bubbly and like a super young girl. And also there's this one animation where I had to be a cat. Like so yeah, those are the very rare kind of roles that I really, really enjoy. But then it also requires a lot of voice changing, and then sometimes it will take a toll on the voice if it's a really long script or if it's like an entire book or something. So yeah, those are really fun for me. And I do more commercial voiceover actually, but I really want to dabble more into animation and video games. I think it's really, really fun. So yeah.
So, as a voice actor, you've probably come across many characters who maybe are pretty unique. So, how do you find yourself? How do you get yourself to get into character and fully portray the character the way that it should be?
Aside from the character brief and also aside from what client is expecting, I would do some research actually. Let's say if it's a cat and a cat in an animation talking, then I would like try to do some research on some cartoons or cat cartoons or cute kids cartoons and try to find a personality for the character that I'm doing. Or if say it's a villain, and I would research more villain kind of cartoon roles and then try to see what's the extreme range that my voice can go. And then I would sometimes do a short sample and send it to the client and see like if they're okay with it before we start the whole thing, so we can save time. And yeah, and I would say it's sometimes it's pretty hard when you want to do like some really distinct voice that would strain your own voice. So sometimes I really have to do a lot of preparation and protect your voice a few days before and make sure you don't have any problems like sore throat and stuff, and drink a lot of hot tea during recording. And yeah, stuff like this is how I prep into it. It's basically quite similar to acting, I would say, in a way. Yeah.
So we've all seen a bunch of blooper reels coming from like live acting sessions in like movies or like TV shows. Have you ever had a character that was just so different from what you're expecting or what you're used to that you've just like gone out of character and just started laughing, or maybe gone out of character?
I would say not during, I mean, for acting, maybe like you're bound to have bloopers where you're bound to lose control at some point. But for voice acting, I think rarely when I'm recording, rarely, because then you have to pause the recording and everything. But before that, when I'm trying to find a voice or practicing, then yeah, sometimes I would laugh at myself, or even after the whole thing has done. And then when I listen back to my track, or sometimes I put a video and video myself, and it's just so hilarious. I would laugh at myself. I couldn't take myself seriously. But yeah, it's still fun because then I would show, like, say, my husband, and he would say, "Is your voice? It's so funny." But yeah, that's how animation is, I guess. And yeah, but if it's say acting, it's definitely more fun because everybody laughs together on set, and yeah, you sometimes you would feel awkward, but then when everybody laughs together, then there's no more awkward. It's just fun, and yeah, that's about it. I think it's one of the fun part of the job, I would say.
I know you've talked about a lot of the interesting parts of your career, but are there any challenges you face regularly, or even some like non-frequent challenges that you face in this job?
There are definitely challenges in every job. Um, I would say the challenge for me as a freelancer, it's to market yourself and to find clients and to find jobs. And for voice acting, it's different. You have to audition. So it's like you found like, say, an open casting, and you still have to audition, and you're not sure if you get it because you're in competition with maybe hundreds or thousands of people. It's the same for acting and modeling. And this is one of the biggest challenge, like marketing, selling yourself, kind of. And other than that is when you sort of have a very, very picky client, and they would pick on your every tone, your every word, your every pronunciation, and then the session goes on for hours and hours. And those can be quite tiring on your voice as well as everything else. And also, like, you sort of have to always negotiate the quotation, the pricing back and forth. And sometimes it's a little bit hard when you're yourself, like you don't have a representative to do that for you. Yeah, and I guess also is to always protect your voice. Because if, let's say, winter comes and then the flu season and everything, and you get flu, you get cough all the time on and off, you cannot take jobs, and it's really frustrating. And yeah, those are the challenges. And nowadays, I guess also languages, like the more the better. The more you know, the better it is. You can get more jobs, and yeah, those are my biggest challenges, I would say. Yeah.
It's great to hear about all the challenges that come with voice acting, because I know, for one, I was very curious about what happens when you guys get sick. Okay, so how do you market yourself as a freelance voice artist? And I know you said you had a agency, or you used to have an agency when you were acting and modeling. So would you recommend having an agency, or are there like more benefits when you're freelancing?
I think it's a little bit different for all, let's say, for modeling. I started out freelancing as well, and I started out doing free photo shoots, getting my portfolio together, and then going to agency to see who wants to take you in. And for modeling, I would say it's better to have an agency, because it's harder to get legit and good paying jobs if you're freelancing. But for acting wise, I would also say it's better to get an agency at some point. But before that, you really gotta first have a basic and hone your skills, like at least be good at acting before you knock on people's door, and do some self-tapes and stuff like that. You don't have to have professional jobs, but I think for acting, if you have some self-tapes and the agency can see potential in you, then I guess it's good to have one. But I know a lot of actors also do not have an agency, but they are working more on indie projects and small projects. Again, like for modeling, acting, I think if you want to get the bigger jobs or better paying or better protection, then agency is, of course, the better ones. But then also you have to think the fact that they will, of course, take a commission from your pay. That's why they're there. But the good thing is that you don't have to deal with all the back and forth with the client, negotiation or contract problem. It's all for the agency. And but for voice acting, I started also doing free jobs. I started on random indie websites and sending out auditions myself, and then some are unpaid, some are paid. And in the beginning, my work was really bad. It's like very bad voice quality, very bad sound quality. And then I learned along the way. And I would say for voice acting, it's okay to be freelance. You're able to earn a pretty good living. But if you want something, let's say, bigger, or you want to quote something higher, or make sure there's a protection for the rights or usage to your voice and stuff, then maybe an agency is better. Even though I do it now, like I send a contract to the client and stuff, but you still don't have the extra protection. Like, let's say if you want to go to court or something, your agency could help you. And if I'm alone, then it's definitely harder. But so far I have no problem on that side, so thank God. But say if you have a dream to do big animation films like Disney or DreamWorks and stuff like this, which is kind of one of my dreams, and then you'll have to sort of find an agency, like a reputable one. Then maybe you'll have some chances in those things. But for a voice acting agency, I think it's a little bit harder. Like you have to have a really good portfolio and also like a broadcast quality home studio and those kind of thing. And yeah, I did try it a few years back to search for an agency, but maybe I wasn't good enough. Nobody replied me, but right now maybe I will be trying again. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I would say voice acting is okay if you don't have an agency, but if you're good at sort of marketing yourself, put yourself out there, then that should be enough, I would say.
As you said, voice acting can get really busy, especially at the peak of a season. So, how are you able to maintain a proper work-life balance?
I guess my career choice since the beginning has always been different. Like it's not a 9 to 6 kind of working hours. So I sort of get used to that. And if it's busy, I mean, I sort of love my job, so I don't find it very stressful. I mean, it gets stressful, but a good kind of stressful, you know. But let's say work-life balance, I would try to, I would say I'm kind of a workaholic. I don't know how to stop. But recent years, I feel like as I grew older, I need to take care of my well-being and I need to take some days off for myself. So usually on the weekends, I would try not to work as much and try to make some plans to go outside with my husband and stuff. And because both of us work online, and so the weekends we would take it off and then, you know, spend some time together, go outside, do some stuff. But sometimes if it gets too much and I don't have enough time to complete my project, then obviously I have to work on the weekends. But I do enjoy it. It's just I need to remind myself to rest sometimes. And yeah, I would say I enjoy being a freelancer or enjoy non-conventional working hours a lot, because at some point you are your own boss, but you also, I mean, of course you gotta hustle more hours than the usual corporate work, say. But then again, when you enjoy it, you don't feel like it's a lot at all. And so, yeah, I think I would never go back to a 9 to 6 kind of job. Yeah. So yeah, I think the good thing about being freelance and working online or non-conventional work hours is you get the very, very busy period, but you also get you get days off where you don't need to. It's not like you gotta apply for annual leave and that kind of thing, you know. It's sort of, it's different, but in a good way, I would say. I kind of enjoy it. Some people don't enjoy it, but I do. So yeah.
Congratulations. We heard you recently got nominated for a voice acting award. What are some other rewarding moments you've had in this field?
I think for acting wise, I did a short film during COVID. It was very interesting because it was filmed remotely. So I was filming in my own country with, the entire film is made with iPhone. So I had to use my iPhone, and then I had to buy some equipments like lightings and stuff. And then they were filming in the other country, like Portugal. and also another country, and then it's live directed via Zoom, and then there's the director, there's the entire crew on Zoom directing me where to put the light and what to do, and then the clothing and stuff. And it was very interesting. And it was a short film, entirely filmed on iPhone, and it got a lot of awards, like short films award, indie film award and stuff. And it was very interesting during that time. And I think I was also awarded like best, I don't know, I forgot the name of the award, but it's something like a phone filmed short film, like best actress kind of thing. And it was very surreal. And one of the TV series I filmed in Singapore was also, I mean, the entire series was also nominated for best web series or something, because it was only shown online. And then recently I was last year, I think, yeah, the end of last year, I was voted the top 10 voice actor in Malaysia. I was really shocked about that. And then it comes with the nomination of SOVAS, which is the Society of Voice Arts in the States, but then it's worldwide, sort of like the Oscars of voice acting. So yeah, I was really happy to be nominated with that. And yeah, maybe I should try again this year. I don't know, but let's see. So yeah, those are the little awards.
Those are some really wonderful achievements. Wow, it's so amazing how you can't even like keep track of them. You have so many. So we've seen how your career has evolved so far, but how else do you see voice acting evolving in the next 10 years, especially due to the use of AI?
Concern in our community, I would say, in the voice acting community. Yeah, AI is sort of taking over a lot of career in the coming future, I would say. But then again, I feel like, I mean, I've listened to a lot of AI voice. Some of them are very, very natural, but they still kind of lack the human essence. And that's a good thing, because they can, I feel like they can never copy the human nuances sometimes, and like our tone, our breathing, our, let's say, crying voice or something when you're speaking and you're at the verge of crying, that kind of thing. I feel like this kind of emotion that AI can never copy it, which is something good. And also, I would say we would try a way to work not against AI, but work with it. Maybe try to find something that AI can help with the voiceover work and stuff like this. For now, I would say it could replace a part of voiceover if the client is not, like, if the client doesn't mind to have something that's not superhuman in their commercial or whatever. But I would say for now, voiceover is still quite okay to go on. It's quite safe. But in like 20, 30 years, I'm not sure. Maybe we have robots. I'm not sure. So yeah, I would say even if AI is growing very fast, I would say try to find a way to work with it as well. And but it's still I'm still optimistic on this human voice kind of thing. So, but also a lot of voice actors would say, you know, don't, because a lot of AI companies are looking for voice actors to record their voice, and then they just make you sign a contract and they will use your voice forever. So a lot of us are against this, and I think most of the voice actor wouldn't sell their voice to AI, so that's a good thing. Yeah, so there's a little bit of hope there, and I am neutral. I would say I'm not super depressive about it. I am quite optimistic, and we'll see where this leads. You know, like, the world is changing, so yeah.
I'm glad you're optimistic about knowing that AI can never really replace a human voice. The last question for today is, do you think voice acting is a career to consider?
Yes, definitely. If you think you have a very distinctive voice, which everybody has, I feel, and if you're very interested in, let's say, if you are interested in acting, but you feel like you don't have any confidence in front of camera or anything, you don't want to memorize lines, then voice acting is perfect because you don't have to memorize the lines, and you don't need to show your face, and you're selling your voice. You can work at home, and yeah, and I think the only thing is to protect your voice. You need a working voice. And I would say yes, it's definitely a career to consider. And because everybody needs it's like a voice over in every kind of language, every kind of voice, every kind of age. So, and I feel like it's a skill that everybody can learn on their own, even if let's say they don't have the resources to pay for classes or anything. You can always start with a little budget. Like in the beginning, my equipment was really cheap, and you sort of learn and build from there, start to earn little pocket money, and then you upgrade your equipment and stuff. So it's definitely worthwhile to consider. I guess even for kids, there are kids voice actors as well, and they need every age. So even now, you guys can start if you're interested as well. So definitely a career to consider, I would say.
That's all the questions we have for you today. Thank you so much for doing this interview with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Guys, we just finished our interview with a voice actor.
Actress.
Actress.
Anyway, no, we're redoing it. It's
Just finished our interview with Erika, a voice actress. And here we are sharing our takeaways. I'll start. So she mentioned towards the end of the video that you can actually start voice acting really early. Like she knows some kids who are into voice acting, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, adding on to that, she actually started voice acting like from her own house during COVID with some random equipment she already had. So I think it's really easy, or at least she was saying that it was really easy to start voice acting, and then it's just up to you whether you're passionate about it.
Yeah, she was saying how like voice acting is so similar to regular acting, except like you can do it even if you're not comfortable on camera, but it is practically like very, very similar.
Yeah, and you don't even need to memorize the script.
Right, because you have it right in front of you.
But it's like, I think it's such a unique career because you can do all sorts of different voices. Like she's voiced a cat before, and I think getting into characters, that seems like so much fun as a voice actress.
Yeah, on that note, I think there's like so much like variety of what you can do with voice acting. Like you can do a lot of like dramas or stuff like that, or you can do commercials.
Yeah.
And so like if you want a career with variety, this is for you, because like some days are just like super busy, like you're working on a season, or some days you're working on a commercial. Like there's so many different things you can do.
Yeah.
And she also talks about how like she enjoys her job and she doesn't feel the stress because of how much she enjoys it, and how like most people will feel the stress of having to work is so much, but she said that because she like truly does like what she does, she just enjoys doing it all the time.
Yeah.
She mentioned that her job can be like her job schedule is like a little odd sometimes. Like sometimes she has like a lot of work, some days her days are very empty. So she mentioned how cool like she thinks it is that it's not a regular 9 to 6, and I definitely agree.
Yeah. I also think like one of the big main like topics now due to AI is AI going to replace voice acting? But I love how she's so optimistic about the whole thing, and she says like AI is never going to have the human nuances, and like she doesn't think it's going to be able to replace like the emotion that humans can have in their voice.
I think it was really interesting how she was able to get through her like early stages of her career, like especially like her schooling and her classes, and how she was able to like push through with the equipment she had, and she like really utilized what she had to her advantage.
Yeah,
Especially because of COVID.
Yeah, adding on to what I think Dimple said earlier about how she started like pretty late. Her education had absolutely nothing to do with voice acting or just acting as a whole, but she was able to sort of use the people skills aspect of psychology to her benefit. and she was able to basically adapt to the acting industry.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to add on that if you like you should always learn to ask for help for
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
and like she said, and also be optimistic and be happy.
Especially because like she was like a freelance actor and like voice actress, so a lot of times she didn't even know what to do. She said like she was really bad at acting in like her early stages and that people kept scolding her, but she took it upon herself to ask for help and just improve as an actress.
Yes. She also mentioned like with her psychology education that she got and her optimism, she learned how to market herself when she was freelancing, and I think that's just a great skill to have, whether you're working in business, health, or voice acting.
Yeah, no, she was saying how like freelancing can be very helpful, but again, if you're a freelancer, you have to market yourself properly, otherwise you're not going to get jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's all our takeaways for this video. So be sure to go check it out. Bye.
Bye.